Tide Talk Web is back. Got some interesting news and notes today. We got Jahad Campbell declared for the draft. I'm sure y'all seen, obviously, Jalen Milrose declared for the draft. A lot of guys that are still kind of pending. We got Jeremy Bernard, wide receiver, he's still pending. Jaden Roberts, right guard, he's pending. Tyler Booker did declare. Tim Keenan is unknown. Jamarian Latham, defensive line, is unknown. Deontay Lawson, linebacker. Damani Jackson, he's also unknown. Keon Sabb, I think he'll come back. He's unknown, but I think he will come back because he didn't have enough footage this year because of injuries and things. Justin Jefferson is another guy that's kind of in the picture. We do have some great players returning. I will say Parker Brailsford, he's center, he's returning. Glad to see he's returning. Jam Miller is obviously returning because he's not a first rounder. But it's still nice to have that gamemanship and the knowledge that he has and the game experience. Overton, LT Overton's coming back, which is great on the defensive line. New portal ads, guys that have jumped in the portal. Jaron Hamilton, wide receiver. Amari Jefferson, wide receiver, jumped in the portal. Like I said, Ja'Shawn Ross, edge, he jumped in the portal. We got 17 transfers out. King Mack is also one of them that jumped in the portal. He's going too. So I think the portal era is something we're just going to have to deal with. It's something that for every team. I don't know this for a fact, but I would assume Georgia has a ton of players that jump in the portal. I'm assuming Texas has a bunch. I'm assuming Ohio State has a bunch. This is just a normal thing that we're going to have to deal with now. I, being an old school fan, hate it. I think there should be limits. I personally think that if you have a portal, it should be open once a year. I think it should be after bowl season, after the playoffs. I think that the portal in itself, anybody should be allowed to portal without sitting out the first time you decide to do it. After that, I think you should wait a year. I think it would slow this thing down. I think you'd have, the days of getting a guy in there, maybe a walk-on who worked his way into a scholarship and having those success stories and developing are done. I think some of these really good 5-stars that aren't developing in 1 year on the field, they're getting angry and leaving. I think that's bad. But, I'm an old school fan. What do I know? I will say we did just land today, a few hours ago. Bama landed Arkel Ogum. He's 6'6" and 330. I'll have updates on that in another video. I think that's a good get for us. Some news and noteworthy things too. We had defensive coach and co-DC Colin Hitchler, if I'm saying it right. He was let go. Like I said, I will say when it comes to Bama and you analyzing the teams and stuff, the defense, in my opinion, wasn't the problem. I mean, we did have a top 25 defense. Yes, we had a letdown, in my opinion, a big one against Vanderbilt. The other 3 losses, whether it be Tennessee, Oklahoma, Michigan, those were offensive collapses, and mainly by the quarterback. I hate to say it. You can also put that on the offensive coordinator for not pulling Milroe at times. You can put that on DeBoer for not pulling him at times. But that wasn't a defensive problem. Maybe this is the fan in me. I feel like the problem is the offensive coordinator. There's a reason Sheridan only coached for DeBoer 1 season at Indiana and then was put to a different role. There's no, that's the crux. The play calling was bad. The game planning was bad. Saban and Tommy Rees took Milroe and made him a breath away from a national championship contender. And we went to the playoffs and did very well. So it's like everything that Milroe did was slide backwards this year. Now, some of it is on Milroe and decision-making. I get that. Oklahoma, some of that was on the wide receivers not catching balls and him making bad decisions. Against Michigan, making bad decisions. Against Tennessee, making bad decisions. I didn't think that was a defensive thing from the stats and what I've seen. It's very interesting. Also, with that being said, I thought the offensive line needed a revamp. We need a new offensive line coach because now these problems with the offensive line started before DeBoer even got there. It was started with Saban making bad decisions and not blocking and getting blown up and things like that. One thing I did find very interesting that I've seen and read is how we have three co-defensive coordinators. You've got Womack, he's the head defensive coordinator. You've got Colin Hitchner, a co-defensive coordinator, and you've got co-defensive coordinator Mo Linguist. Like, what's the indecision here? Can we just go with one? That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I didn't think Hitchler was the problem. I mean, I didn't think, when you look at the overall stats and the games, the defense won a few games that were close and kept us in games that we probably shouldn't have been in, but the offense just pissed it away. So maybe I'm not seeing something. I'll eat my words if I'm wrong. I don't understand why there hasn't been a let go of Nick Sheridan and let's hunt for a new offensive coordinator and a new offensive line coach. That's, even the offensive side of the ball, you've got Nick Sheridan, you've got co-offensive coordinator Jamarcus Shepard. Like, you gonna pick one guy or what? Are we just gonna be wishy-washy? That's something I think that needs to be addressed. Another news and noteworthy thing is, our running back room. When you look at the running backs right now, we have Jam Miller, you've got Richard Young, you've got Daniel Harris, you've got Kevin Riley, and you've got A.K. Deere, a 5-star. Our running back room is pretty healthy, pretty vibrant. I did notice that we've got 2 running backs from the portal coming in. You've got Draylon Washington from ULM. He had 73 carries for 400 yards, and he's 224 pounds. He's more like a fullback, right? So maybe he's bringing that guy on campus to bring a fullback back into college football and to Bama. I don't know. The other running back that's in the portal that's coming to visit Bama is Rasul Faison. He's out of Utah State. He actually had pretty good numbers, 198 carries for 1,109 yards. That is a head scratcher to me. And the reason I say that is we have a full running back room. And I don't know why you're bringing in a portal running back. But, hey, whatever. I mean, if, I would be grabbing more defensive linemen. But, hey, I'm not the coach. I just thought it was an interesting news and noteworthy thing. Like I said, hopefully, we can maybe see a change of offensive coordinator and O-line. I'm hoping to see that. I don't know what's going to happen out of it. But when you look at most of the issues that we see out of this Bama team, that's kind of, where a lot of fans, myself included, see the issues. Now, some of it, was, and I'm not trying to beat Milroe to death. I'm going to do a separate video on him later, but, the short intermittent passing game wasn't there this year. Making reads got worse, I think, as the season went on and got tougher. And so with that being said, was it game planning? I think some of it was game planning, yes. It's kind of like, when you look at other quarterbacks that come in the league, like Johnny Manziel, and that blow people out of the water, after a year they figured you out. If you're a one-trick pony, like, kind of Milroe was running, we'll keep you in the pocket, and we'll try to make you beat us on throwing. Well, Michigan proved it with a bunch of second and third string bums that can easily be done. Nothing against Milroe. I think he's a wonderful human being. I think he was a great ambassador for the school. I think he worked harder than most any player that I've ever seen at Alabama, and I thank him for what he did. But, with that being said, that some of that's on the offensive coordinator. Some of that is on the head coach for not pulling it when he needed to be pulled. Other coaches pull quarterbacks. I mean, look at Quinn Ewers. He got pulled this year, and then came back. So, with that being said, it's a very interesting thing, and it will just be an evolving thing as we see going forward. So hopefully we see some more changes being made that I think that need to be made before next year. And we have an interesting spring going into spring. We need to figure out who the quarterback is. We got, Austin Mack. You've got Ty Simpson. You've got Keelan Russell. Don't be shocked if Keelan Russell makes a push for the starting job. If he's the best guy, start him. I'm not about, he waited his turn and we just have to start this guy. No. If somebody's better, you just need to start them to make those hard decisions. Anyway, Tide Talk Whip is out.